So today we are looking at the key digital KD-IP1022ENC-II. And, well, the name is a bit of a mouthful of model numbers. The device itself is really interesting.
It is. It really represents this pivot point in the industry, you know?
Right. So the mission for this deep dive isn't just to review some black box. It's to understand how hardware like this is finalizing that shift away from old school rigid cabling.
And onto a fully managed AV over IP system, it really signals the end of the traditional fixed chassis matrix switcher.
Yeah, that whole paradigm.
You're just trading physical port limitations for, well, for bandwidth management on a gigabit switch.
Yeah.
And this unit, the 1022ENC-II, it seems specifically designed to make that transition less scary for installers.
For people who aren't necessarily network engineers.
Exactly.
That is the key, isn't it? It builds that bridge. You're not soldering connectors anymore. You're just managing streams on a network.
And the scalability is the first thing that just blows you away.
Oh, absolutely. In the old days, you buy an 8x8 matrix, you need a ninth screen, and you're buying a whole new chassis.
You're starting over. Here, you just add another decoder to the network. It creates a purely modular system.
One encoder per source, one decoder per screen. Simple.
And the source material highlights that the system can support a video wall up to 16 by 16.
That's 256 displays. I mean, that's just massive.
It is, but the raw size is just one metric. I think the Mosaic video wall feature is actually much more interesting from a design perspective.
Because it breaks the grid, right? Standard video walls are often just these big, boring rectangles made of smaller rectangles.
Yeah, and Mosaic lets you do this kind of digital origami, mixing screen sizes, orientations, creating artistic layouts.
Which usually requires a dedicated and very expensive video wall processor with a ton of complex setup.
And coding, almost always a lot of command line coding. Key Digital is really aggressive about usability here. They market a no terminal coding approach.
Right, they push you to the KDMS Pro software or even just the app.
The Key Digital app, yeah.
Which is where it gets kind of surprising. You see finger drag management for professional grade signage.
It's very consumer level. You just drag a video source from a sidebar onto a little picture of your video wall, and boom, it updates instantly.
That kind of ease of use for a commercial install it's a huge deal. It lowers the barrier to entry.
It does, but we shouldn't mistake that simple UI for a simple backend. The signal routing is actually really sophisticated. I'd say the standout technical feature is the independent switching.
Okay, this is crucial for places like sports bars or command centers. You're not just routing one combined HDMI signal.
No, you can strip the layers, you can send the video from source A to the wall,
But route the audio from source B to the ceiling speakers.
and then send the USB control to a completely different spot. That USB routing is massive for KVM keyboard video mouse applications for remote PC management.
Okay, but here's a classic friction point with these systems. Resolution mismatch. You have a 4K source, but one of your 20 screens is an older 1080p model.
And the whole system usually defaults down to that lowest common denominator.
Or you just get a blank screen on the older display.
Exactly. This unit prevents that. It has a built-in 4K downscale feature on the encoder itself. It takes in the 4K signal and automatically creates a compatible stream for the 1080p or 720p displays.
So you don't have to downgrade your main source just to accommodate one legacy screen. That's a huge safety net for retrofits.
It is. And since you mentioned retrofits, the audio handling is also pretty smart. It's not just a pass-through.
It has that integrated preamp, right?
Right. It handles de-embedding, so you can pull the audio out to a separate amp. But the critical spec there is the lip sync delay control.
Ah, for large venues.
Yeah, if your speakers are, say, 100 feet from the screen, the speed of sound creates a noticeable disconnect. Being able to delay the audio at the encoder ensures the mouth moves when the words are actually heard.
It's one of those invisible features that just makes an install feel professional.
It really is.
And on the physical side, you have to mention power over Ethernet.
Oh yeah, a major cleaner. If your switch supports PoE, you have no power bricks in the rack. Just one Ethernet cable doing video, audio, control, and power.
It must reduce rack density by a lot.
Significantly.
So if we step back, this device is really about, I guess, democratizing high-end video distribution.
I think so. It takes features that used to require a six-figure budget and a programmer on staff like those mosaic walls and independent routing and puts them on a standard network.
It creates a situation where the limit isn't really the hardware anymore.
No, it's just the network infrastructure you plug it all into.
which totally changes how you can look at public spaces. So
Yeah.
next time you see a massive, complex digital art installation in a lobby, don't assume there's a wizard behind the curtain or some supercomputer in the basement.
It might just be a standard network cable managed by someone dragging their finger on an iPad.
Thanks for listening to this deep dive.